in this lecture we'll get started with some bit of text design, text adjustments, things like that. So for this little example I just have a few pieces of text. As you can see, there are 3 of them. We have test text, text for test, and then normal text, superscript text. This one will be quite interesting. It will make a bit of sense when I show you how that works. But let's start with the test text, and let's just do a few things with it. Now, to apply something on a text, you need to go to the top, and you see you have a home tab. It's all in the home tab, and it's actually pretty much all in the font. Okay, in the font section, in the font ribbon, like that. Okay, and you have your little features, and then you can open a little box, get a few more features. I will show you that later. But also what you can do is you can highlight it, okay, like that. And you see this kind of a shortcut will pop up. It won't give you all the features, but it is kind of a quick way to do some of the things. Now, let's say I want my test, the word test, to be bold. So I will simply click B, okay. If I want it to be italic, I'll do I letter, like that, you see. And the same you can find like that in the font, okay, B and I. If I remove that I, it's now not italic anymore. So that's how you can access all these, okay. And as I mentioned, I will show you now the little pop-up window. So you click right here, okay, like that, and it pops out like that. Okay, let's see, like that. We have a font. It's a bit of a window. It pretty much holds all the stuff that you want. It gives you a few more details, okay, like that. So I am in the advanced, but if I go to font, the font tab, you see we have a couple of tabs here. I basically have my fonts, font style, size, nothing fancy. A font color, basically the stuff that you can find in the font, okay. And we can do some little color, okay, just so we make it a bit more exciting, like that. You can also do an underline if you need that, okay. You see, you can have a full, or you can have words only, like that. So this is one word only, so we can do double underline. Now you also have small caps, all caps. So small caps would make all the letters just not capitalized anymore if they were capitalized, and for the all caps, obviously it would make them all capitalized. Since we don't have them capitalized, we can do all caps, and you can actually find them in this tab right here in this little section. And in this case, you get a little preview. Now, if I click OK, you see I got my test to be with that underline, with that color and all that. But say I don't want that anymore and I want to do it quickly. I don't want it capitalized. So I would simply go to the top, and you see I have these AA, this change case. Okay, so you can do sentence case if you want. You can do lowercase, uppercase, or you can capitalize each word, but we only have selected the test. You see, we only have selected the test. So I'm going to do lowercase like that. Okay, and let's try the other option. So now I have selected both of them. You see, I selected both of them. Whichever words are highlighted, those are the words you are working on, not any other words, just those words, okay? So let's say I want to capitalize each word, and you see now it's capitalized, both T's are capital. Okay, so this is the basic of it. Now let's do something a bit more advanced on text for test. Okay, so I'm going to go to font and expand it, and I'm going to go to advanced. Okay, so the interesting thing here, the really interesting thing here is the character spacing. This can be very, very useful, not just for, say, titles and names and all that stuff, but just in general to highlight something. It might be useful as well. Sometimes bold and italic simply don't work. They simply don't highlight enough, so you might want to use spacing for that as well. So we have spacing normal, and you can do condensed and expanded. If I do expanded, it will expand by 1 point. Say I want something a bit more, and let's do 3 points. Okay, so it will expand by 3 points. However, if I would do condensed, it would condense by 3 points. Okay, so it's one day or the other, just like that. And then we have this little position, position raised or lower. You see in the preview, we can see that quite clearly. It will either be raised or lowered. This might be useful as well for some highlighting. You might just expand it like that and lower it or raise it, depending on how much spacing you have in between the lines. We'll get to that in a later lecture. But let's just leave it at normal, okay? And then you have some of these open type features, some bit of spacing. This is a bit more advanced, we won't get into that, okay? So let's click OK, and you see now we have text for test with all the proper spacing. Now let's take a look at one final thing in that advanced tab. It's actually not in advanced tab, but you see we have text effects. If I click on that, we can add all kinds of different effects, say solid fill, gradient fill, like that. And in terms of a gradient fill, you can actually add as many of these gradient points as you want, gradient stops as they are called. You can choose the angle. Okay, so if I want one more, I just click this one, it adds another one. Okay, and it's now selected, this one. So if I want to change the color for that particular one, I just click that, change my color to say red, like that. Okay, and that's it. I've changed that, but you see it's only for that one. So if I want it to be more reddish, I would have to change it for a few more, like that. And then you have directions, linear type, radial, rectangular path. You see all these different things. I can't really say how you should use them. I can show you that they do exist, but as far as using them, I would suggest to actually avoid them if possible. And if you do have to use them, it all comes down to just trying it out, experimenting with it, just checking for what fits and what doesn't fit. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click OK. And I get my result. A little gradient. If I can zoom in a little bit more, you see there is that gradient going kind of more towards the top. Now, let's get to this interesting piece of text. So what we have here is normal text. Okay, normal text, like that. This is the normal text. Now, I'm not going to work with a normal text. I'm going to work with a superscript text. And superscript will be made into a superscript. If I can just highlight it properly, and yes, I can. Now, you won't find it in here. You won't find it. If you want to find it, you need to go to the top. Let's zoom out a little. And let's do the superscript. So this X2 is the superscript. If I click on that, the text, superscript text, is now in a superscript mode. Okay, and the same would be for the subscript, right? Subscript, like that. You see, the good thing about the word is actually the fact when you hover on one of these, it kind of gives you a little explanation. Now, you may not know what this little sign means, what it does, but if you hover on that, it clearly says subscript. This one would say superscript. So do follow along those lines, do check them out, and just a few more things I want to show you. If you want to kind of cross it out, you can do it like that. This AB, you see, now it's deleted, non-existent, whatever it's used for. And a bit about the font sizes. There are several ways to actually change them. You can just select a number, just jump for a number, and as you can see, when I'm selecting, it actually gives me a little preview. It's changing like that. You see it's changing, but if I come off that, like that, you see it changed back. If I deselect it, it stays. The other option is to increase or decrease the size, like that. I click on this one, it increases, and as you can see, it's written, increase font size. I'm increasing, and I can decrease to 7. Let's increase it again, just like that, you see. And as far as the font family, you just choose it like that, the actual font. Agency FB, if I want that, I'll just click on that, you see. There's quite a variety to choose from, there are many options, and these are basically the basics of the text. And with that, we will conclude this lecture.